E aí galera do BJ, sou o Douglas Vieira, estou aqui com o Timon, que é produtor do Dying Light, e a gente vai conversar um pouquinho sobre o game para tentar passar um pouco mais de informações para você. Nice to meet you, Timon.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. It's my first time in Brazil and I'm really surprised by how huge the whole event is and how great it is.
Yes, it's bigger this year. First question, why have you decided to mix zombies and parkour in Dying Light?
Well, I think it's quite natural. If I transformed into a zombie right now, I think you would run. And if I chased you, you would try to run as fast as possible and maybe climb on top of some buildings. So we thought that zombie games lack that idea, that ability to run from zombies and to use all the agility of a healthy human being to escape zombies. So we wanted to create a game that uses that, and of course in games everything is bigger, everything is better, so we really give you those cool skills, cool parkour skills to use.
Right. What about the story? Is this the kind of game where we'll control a character that wake up in a messed world and has lost his mind and something like that?
Well, not really. The game takes place in a fictional city of Haran. The city is closed by the army because of the zombie outbreak. And at the start of the game, the players are just survivors trapped in that city. They just want to survive. So they really don't want to save the world. All they want is to live through the whole thing. But then they find some clues about what happened. Maybe they find some clues about how they can prevent the whole epidemic. How can they make the epidemic go away? So they follow those clues and then something happens, but I'm unable to reveal that because that would be a spoiler.
Yes, the city in the game, it looks like Brazil. Is it safe to assume that we are in Brazil?
Well, it's not Brazil. Sorry for that. I would love to say in front of a Brazilian audience that it is Brazil. The look of Haran was inspired by many real-world locations, and it was also inspired by other sections of other cities, sections in which poor people are living. So it ties to our story. It's not a random thing. It's not something that we just thought it looks cool. It really is important for our story to have it set in a part of the city which is which is lived by poor people, and people will find why it is important in the final game.
Now that you mention people, we know that the character will meet some factions in the game. Will they play a bigger role during the journey?
Well, of course. I think it's a trend with all of the zombie games that these are games not only about zombies, but about people trying to find themselves in the situation when they are surrounded by zombies. So you will meet other survivors in Dying Light, and not all of those survivors will be friendly. Some of them will be friendly from the start, some of them will be unfriendly from the start, and some of them will be just neutral to you, and you will have to find your own way of interacting with them.
So we can say that your actions will affect the gameplay.
Yes, of course. Of course, it's a safe thing to say because lots of things that you do in the game influence how the game plays. They don't really influence the whole storyline because it is linear, but your decisions make the game flow differently.
All right. Now that you mentioned gameplay, we know that you can use some things in the environment to hit the zombies and things like that. Will it be a big part of the game, like you mix some strategies to kill them?
Of course. I think one of the most important things about Dying Light is that Dying Light always gives you lots of options to choose from. So you can fight zombies directly, though that's not the smartest option, that's not the smartest choice. Then you can run from zombies or try to avoid combat by climbing on top of roofs. And you can also use things in the environment. You can use them strategically. So there are traps in the environment that you can use. There are some things that you can put in the environment and use them as traps. There are some things in the environment that you can use as a means of fighting zombies. So for example, if there are some spikes on the wall, you can throw zombies on those spikes. So there are things like that.
We know that the time will affect the zombies, but what about the main character? Will it be kind of, I don't know, sleepy at night and things like that?
No, he will not be sleepy. I am not able to reveal anything about what happens to the main character during the night, but we were showing some of the things that can spark your imagination about his skills during the night. We were showing on one of our gameplay trailers that we released so far, you can see that player uses something which is called sense. He can, when you push the sticks of the controller, the player sends like a wave of, like he tries to hear what's around him, and we show you the location of zombies during the night. So you can do things like that during the night.
Some time ago was revealed that the game will feature an option where a player can play as a zombie.
Yes.
Can you say more about this option?
Well, what I can say about this is that we revealed it like a month ago. You can play as a zombie and invade other people's games. What's interesting about it, and I think what is really cool about it, is that when you play as a zombie, you get special zombie experience points, and with those experience points, you can upgrade your zombie character. You can buy some new zombie skills. So when you start, you get this quite regular zombie. He is lethal, but it is a regular zombie. But then when you upgrade that character, you change, you transform into this killing machine, which is really cool to play.
But just one person can be a zombie.
Yes. So how it works is that there's only, as for now, there's only one player-controlled zombie in the game.
Right. And what kind of powers the zombies can learn?
We will talk more about this in the future. So I'm not able to reveal that much. But if you look at the special zombies we revealed so far, for example, at BGS we are showing a new special type of zombie which is called detalhes, who spits venom at players. Then you can, well, it's safe to say that you will be able to use similar things while playing as a zombie.
Yes. I played the island and it took me about 20 hours to beat the game.
Okay.
About the time you will spend in Dying Light.
If you want to just beat the game, if you want to see the end credits, it will take you, I think, around 20 hours as well. But the main storyline takes between 15 to 20 hours. Then we have more than 100 side missions, which give you another 20 hours of gameplay. And then we have a system which is called dynamic encounters. And that's a system that randomly generates small events, small missions for each playthrough. You can play the game one day and something happens, and when you try to play the same section of the game another day, these things just don't happen. So these are randomly generated things, and those things give you, I think, another 20 hours of gameplay. So if you want to play the game like if you want to see 100% of the game playing alone, you will need to spend at least 50 to 60 hours. But then the whole game can be played in co-op. So when you play in co-op, you can just mess around the world with your friends. You don't have to do nothing special. It's just funny to be there in that game world with your friends and do cool stuff in that game world. So you can play it even longer.
Right. People here in Brazil, they really love games with sounds and things like that. We will have the chance to play in Portuguese with voices or at least subtitles.
I am unable to reveal that, but we would. I know that. I know that Idol was a huge success in Brazil, and I have to assure you that Brazil is very high on top of our list of countries we would like to fully localize our game. It's left for our publisher, Warner Brothers Games, to decide, but I know that Warner Brothers has a very strong presence in Brazil, so I think they might have something special for Brazil fans as well.
Hope you can root for that.
Yes.
Well, Timon, thank you for your time here.
Thanks for having me.
Alright. É isso aí, pessoal. Espero que vocês tenham gostado. Até a próxima.
Lançou um desafio. Você usa a banda larga fixa da TIM e se no primeiro mês não gostar, cancela sem pagar nada. Eu fiz o teste e gostei.
Desafio Live Team com 35 MB de velocidade, só R$ 69,90. Live Team, viva essa experiência.